The rain-slicked streets of Seattle gleamed under the sodium lamps as I watched Jordan shatter a bottle against the brick wall of the alley, his scream echoing like a siren's wail through the night. "You don't get it, do you? None of you do," he roared at the shadows, fists clenched, tears carving paths down his rain-streaked face, while I stood frozen 10 feet away, heart pounding, because I knew this explosion wasn't just about the slur some drunk had hurled at him outside the bar. It was about me, about the secret I'd buried so deep it was rotting me from the inside. In that moment, as glass shards glittered like fallen stars at his feet, I realized protecting him meant letting him break a little more, even if it tore me apart. Jordan's chest heaved as he slumped against the wall, the fight draining out of him like water from a punctured bucket. I stepped forward, gravel crunching under my boots, but he held up a hand, his voice cracking. "Don't, Alex. Just don't." His eyes, those fierce blue storms, locked onto mine, and for a split second, I saw the raw plea beneath the anger, the boy who dragged me to pride parades when I was too scared to wave a flag, the friend who'd become my anchor in this gray city that chewed up dreams and spat out husks. But I stopped, because voicing what I felt would light the fuse on everything we'd built, and in a town where whispers could end careers, silence was the only shield I had left. We'd met 2 years earlier at a coffee shop in Capitol Hill, the kind of place where the air smelled like roasted beans and quiet rebellion. I was nursing a black coffee, sketching in my notebook, aimless lines that never quite captured the chaos in my head, when Jordan burst through the door like a comet, shaking rain from his umbrella and belting out an off-key rendition of some indie anthem that had the barista rolling her eyes. He was everything I wasn't: loud, unapologetic, with a laugh that turned heads and a style that screamed, "Look at me," in neon letters. Tattoos peeked from under his sleeves, a rainbow infinity loop on one wrist, a fierce phoenix on the other, and his hair was always a little wild, like he'd just rolled out of a protest or a lover's bed. Me? I was the guy in the corner booth, faded jeans and a plain tee, blending into the woodwork because standing out had cost my family too much back in rural Ohio. He spotted me sketching and plopped down across from me without asking, peering over the table like we'd been buddies forever. "Dude, that's killer. What's it supposed to be? A dragon eating its tail, or some existential crap?" His grin was infectious, the kind that made you forget the storm raging outside. I mumbled something about it being nothing, but he snatched the notebook, flipping pages with zero regard for boundaries. "Alex, right? Saw your name on the tab. I'm Jordan. And this is fire. You gotta show it to the world, man." Just like that, he appointed himself my cheerleader, dragging me to open mics where I'd read my poems under his watchful eye, his whoops and hollers drowning out the awkward silences. Our friendship bloomed in the cracks of Seattle's endless drizzle, a city that prided itself on progressive vibes, but still harbored undercurrents of judgment sharp as broken glass. Jordan was out and proud from day one, posting selfies with rainbow filters on Instagram, volunteering at the local LGBTQ center, even starting a queer book club that met in dive bars. "Life's too short to hide, Alex," he'd say, clinking his beer against mine. "You either shine or you fade." I'd nod, forcing a smile, because shining felt like suicide to me. Back home, my dad had disowned my uncle for being gay, kicked him out at 17 with nothing but a backpack and a bus ticket. I'd seen the wreckage, holidays without him, whispers at family reunions, the way my mom still cried sometimes over old photos. So I kept my truth locked in a box, labeled fragile, and let Jordan think I was just figuring things out. But figuring things out became harder as we spent more time together. We'd crash on each other's couches after late-night shifts, me bartending at a straight-laced pub downtown, him slinging lattes at that same coffee shop, binging bad horror flicks, and debating everything from climate change to the best drag brunch spots. One night, after a particularly brutal shift where a customer had cornered Jordan in the back alley, muttering slurs under his breath, he showed up at my apartment soaked to the bone, not from rain, but from the sprinklers he'd, accidentally, triggered on the asshole's car. We sat on the floor with takeout Thai, and he leaned his head on my shoulder, vulnerability cracking his armor. "Why do they hate us so much, Alex? What did we ever do?" His voice was small, and I wrapped an arm around him without thinking, my heart slamming like a drum. In that touch, I felt the shift, the way his warmth seeped into me, turning friendship into something sharper, more dangerous. I pulled away too quick, muttering about needing water, and spent the rest of the night staring at the ceiling, replaying the feel of him against me. Jordan didn't notice, or if he did, he played it off with a joke, but from then on, the air between us hummed with unspoken static. He'd flirt with everyone, baristas, activists, random cute guys at the gym. But with me, it was different. Lingering glances over breakfast, his hand brushing mine when passing the remote, questions that probed too deep. You ever think about it, Alex? Like, really letting go? I'd deflect with a laugh, change the subject to the Mariners' latest loss, but inside, the box cracked a little more each time. Summer hit Seattle like a reluctant guest, bringing tourists and ferry lines, but no real heat. Just that damp warmth that made the city feel alive. Jordan roped me into his latest scheme, co-hosting a queer art exhibit at the center, a showcase for local talents fighting back against the state's latest budget cuts to LGBTQ programs. You're in, right? Your sketches are perfect, raw, real, like they bleed emotion. I hesitated, the old fears clawing up, but his eyes sparkled with that fire, and I caved. We spent weeks prepping, him painting murals that screamed defiance, me framing my drawings of shadowed figures reaching for light. The opening night buzzed with energy, drag queens in full glam, politicians sipping cheap wine, reporters snapping pics. Jordan worked the room like a pro, his laughter cutting through the chatter, but I stuck to the edges, nursing a seltzer and nodding politely. That's when I saw her, Elena, Jordan's ex from college, sweeping in like a storm cloud in a sundress. Tall, with sharp cheekbones and hair like polished obsidian, she was the kind of beautiful that demanded attention. They'd dated for a year back in Portland, a whirlwind of passion and protests that ended in flames when she moved east for grad school. Jordan, she called, her voice warm as honey, and he lit up, pulling her into a hug that lingered too long. I watched from across the room, stomach twisting, as they fell into easy banter, her hand on his arm, his head thrown back in laughter. Jealousy hit me like a freight train, irrational, unbidden, because of course he'd go back to her. She was safe, straight-passing in her poised way, the kind of ex who didn't drag up old wounds. By midnight, the crowd thinned, and I found them on the balcony overlooking the Puget Sound, city lights twinkling like distant promises. Jordan's arm was around her waist, casual but intimate, and she was leaning in, whispering something that made him grin. I turned away, heat burning my cheeks, and slipped out the back, the cool night air doing nothing to quench the fire in my chest. Walking home alone, the rain starting up again, I let the tears come, silent, choking, because loving him quietly was supposed to protect us both, but it was carving me hollow. The next morning, my phone buzzed with Jordan's name, a string of emojis, and where do you disappear to? Elena's in town, dinner tonight. I typed back a weak excuse about a headache, hit send, and buried myself in work, pouring drinks with mechanical precision while my mind replayed the balcony scene on loop. Elena wasn't the problem. She was a symptom of everything I couldn't say. Jordan had always been the flame, drawing moths like me closer until we burned. But admitting it? That would mean risking the friendship, the family we'd makeshift for misfits. In Seattle, where tech bros preach tolerance but side-eyed the rainbow pins, coming out wasn't just personal. It was political, a target on your back. Days blurred into a haze. Jordan texted nonstop. Updates on Elena's visit, invites to hikes in the Olympics, memes about our shared disdain for pineapple on pizza, but I kept responses short, building walls brick by emoji. He called once, voice edged with worry. Alex, talk to me. Did I do something? I lied, said it was just stress from the exhibit, and hung up feeling like a traitor. The truth gnawed at me. Every quiet moment was a lie, every laugh a deflection. I started avoiding the coffee shop, picking up extra shifts, sketching feverishly in the dim light of my apartment, figures now twisted in agony, hands outstretched but never touching. Elena left after a week, jetting back to Boston with promises of visits, and Jordan showed up at my door unannounced, takeout bags swinging from his fists. Intervention time, buddy. You look like shit. He barged in, unpacked pad thai on my coffee table, and fixed me with that stare, the one that peeled back layers. We ate in silence at first, the TV droning some sitcom rerun, but then he set down his fork. "It's Elena, isn't it? I saw your face that night. But listen, she's just a friend now." Ancient history. Relief flickered, but it twisted into something sharper when he added, "You're the one who matters, Alex. Always have been." His words hung there, heavy as fog, and for a heartbeat, I almost spilled it. The years of stolen glances, the ache that bloomed every time he smiled at someone else. But the phone rang, his boss, calling him in for an emergency close. He groaned, stood, clapped my shoulder. "Promise me you'll stop ghosting? We're better than this." The door clicked shut, and I was alone again, the promise tasting like ash. Fall crept in with its amber leaves and chill winds off the sound, mirroring the frost settling between us. Jordan threw himself into work, picking up doubles to fund a trip to San Francisco for a queer film fest, while I buried deeper into isolation, my sketches turning darker, more confessional. Friends from the center noticed, texts from mutuals like, "Everything okay with you too?" But I brushed them off. The misunderstandings piled up like autumn debris. He'd misread my distance as disinterest in his life. I mistook his persistence as pity. Prejudices I'd long ignored resurfaced too. Overheard bar talk about those loud activists ruining the neighborhood, sideways glances at my pride sticker on my laptop. Seattle's progressiveness was a veneer, thin as mist, and cracks showed when you pressed. One evening, nursing a beer at a quiet pub in Fremont, I overheard two guys at the next table. Older, flannel-clad. The kind who voted blue but grumbled about kids these days. That Jordan kid from the center? Stirring up trouble again with his rallies. City's fine without the drama. My blood ran cold. They knew his name, his face. Fear slithered in, the old protective instinct flaring. If I stayed quiet, stayed hidden, I could watch his back without becoming a liability. But as I slipped out into the night, phone buzzing with Jordan's invite to a bonfire on Alki Beach, doubt crept in. How long could I protect him by erasing myself? The beach bonfire crackled against the November dusk, flames dancing like mischievous sprites as our group, Jordan, me, a handful of center volunteers, passed a guitar and stories around the pit. Salt air mingled with wood smoke, the Olympics a jagged silhouette across the water. Jordan was in his element, strumming chords to an old folk tune about lost loves, his voice rough and earnest, drawing sighs from the circle. I sat across from him, knees drawn up, the firelight carving shadows on his face that made my chest ache. He'd barely spoken to me all night. Our interactions clipped, but when our eyes met over the flames, something electric passed. Regret, maybe, or the ghost of what could be. A new face joined U.S. Midway. Riley, a transfer from the L.A. chapter, all easy charm and sun-kissed confidence. Non-binary, with cropped hair dyed electric blue and pronouns pinned to their jacket. Riley dove into the conversation like they'd always been there, trading barbs with Jordan that had everyone howling. "You call that a rally story? Please, I've chained myself to City Hall for less." Jordan leaned in, intrigued, their laughter sinking like a duet. Jealousy reared again, ugly and familiar, but this time it fueled a reckless spark. As the fire died to embers, Riley wandered off for more wood, and Jordan scooted closer, our shoulders brushing. "Missed this," he murmured, low enough for only me. "Missed you." The words unlocked something, a floodgate cracking. Jordan, but Riley returned, arms full of driftwood, and the moment shattered. Later, as we packed up, stars pricking the velvet sky, Riley slung an arm around Jordan's waist in a platonic hug that looked anything but to my frayed nerves. "Crash at my place? It's closer than the bus." Jordan glanced at me, hesitation flickering, then nodded. "Yeah, sounds good. Alex, you good to head out solo?" I forced a thumbs up, throat tight, and watched them walk away, silhouettes merging with the night. That walk home was purgatory, waves crashing like accusations, wind whipping regrets into my face. By the time I reached my building, resolve had hardened. I couldn't keep this up. The next day, I texted Jordan a half-truth. Needed space to sort my head, would call soon. He replied with a single "okay," but it felt like goodbye. Days stretched into a week of radio silence. My apartment a tomb of unspoken confessions. Work blurred, sketches abandoned, until a call from the center jolted me. Jordan had collapsed during a shift. Exhaustion, they said, but whispers hinted at more. Panic propelled me to the hospital, heart in my throat. He looked small in the bed, for dripping steadily, monitors beeping a somber rhythm. Elena was there, flying in again, her presence a knife twist, and a few friends milled about. Overwork, the doctor confirmed, but Jordan's eyes, when they met mine, told a different story. Hollow, haunted. Alex, he whispered as I approached, gripping my hand with surprising strength. Don't leave me like this. The room faded, just us in that bubble of beeps and bleach, and I sank into the chair, thumb tracing his knuckles. Never, I breathed, the lie of my silence cracking wide. Discharge brought tentative normalcy. Jordan crashing at my place for recovery. Elena heading back east with worried calls. We coexisted in careful dance, me cooking bland soups, him flipping channels with restless energy. Conversations skirted the edges, his burnout from fighting battles alone, my vague demons from the past. But the undercurrent pulled stronger. One night, rain lashing the windows like judgment, he cornered me in the kitchen. What's really going on, Alex? You've been a ghost since the beach. Is it Riley? Or something else? His voice trembled, vulnerability stripping him bare. I set down the mug, steam curling like secrets. It's me, Jordan. It's always been me. The words tumbled out then, a dam breaking. The fear from my uncle's exile, the quiet love that had rooted in me since that first coffee shop chaos, the way his loudness illuminated my shadows. He listened, eyes wide, then pulled me into a hug that shattered the last barriers, fierce, trembling, home. Idiot, he murmured into my hair. I thought you didn't see me. I've been screaming your name in every protest, every laugh. Laughter bubbled through tears, relief flooding the room brighter than any Seattle sun. But peace was fleeting. Whispers from the center reached us. Riley, hurt by the shift, spreading rumors, jealous barbs about Jordan going straight edge, or me being the closet case holding him back. Prejudices flared in group chats, old allies questioning loyalties. Then came the real blow, a leaked email from the center's board, citing internal drama to justify cuts, with Jordan's name attached like a scarlet letter. He spiraled, pacing my living room, voice rising. They think I'm the problem? After everything. I tried to ground him, but doubt crept in. Had my silence enabled this? Was loving quietly just cowardice? Winter clamped down, holidays looming like indictments. My family called from Ohio, Mom's voice brittle, Dad's gruff inquiries about that Seattle job, and I dodged questions about Jordan, the half-truths piling like snow. He noticed, tension coiling anew. You haven't told them? About us. Us. The word thrilled and terrified. Not yet, I admitted, and his face fell, a chasm opening. How can I trust this if you're still hiding? The fight erupted mild at first, words sharp as icicles, escalating when he grabbed his coat. I need air. Don't follow. He stormed out into the sleet, and I chased anyway, slipping on ice, hard in freefall. Blocks away, near the market, I found him under a awning, shoulders shaking. Jordan, a figure emerged from the shadows, my dad, in town unannounced for a surprise visit, face thunderous. He'd tracked my phone, old-school paranoia, and overheard the tale end at my door. What the hell is this, Alex? Some phase with this. Activist. The slur hung unspoken, but it landed like a slap. Jordan stiffened, fire reigniting. Sir, with all due respect, your son's twice the man you'll ever understand. Chaos unfolded, Dad's tirade echoing off brick, Jordan's retorts laced with years of pent-up fury, me caught in the crossfire, pleading. Dad, stop. This is who I am. He's who I love. The admission ripped free, raw and irrevocable, and silence fell, broken only by distant horns. Dad's face crumpled, shock, then something softer, regret, before he turned, muttering, "Call your mother," and vanished into the night. Jordan pulled me close, whispering apologies, but the damage lingered, a fracture in foundations. Reconciliation came slow, over eggnog and forced cheer at a center potluck, where allies rallied around us, Riley included, owning their pettiness with a sheepish grin. Heard I stirred shit. Sorry, man, Projection City. Forgiveness flowed like mulled wine, bonds mending with shared toasts to resilience. But the real test brewed. An anonymous tip to the local paper, outing Jordan's personal distractions as cause for the center's woes, prejudices weaponized in print. Headlines screamed, "Queer leaders scandal rocks funding," twisting our story into tabloid fodder. The backlash hit like a tidal wave. Protests outside the center, donors pulling out, Jordan's face plastered on news feeds with captions dripping disdain. He crumbled privately, rage giving way to despair. "They win if we hide, Alex." But shining hurts. I held him through nights of what-ifs, my own coming out rippling home, Mom's tearful support, Dad's radio silence a wound that festered. Friendships strained too. Old Ohio pals ghosting, Seattle acquaintances side-eyeing. Yet in the rubble, we grew. Therapy sessions unpacking traumas, joint op-eds reclaiming our narrative. Climax crested at the city's Pride Board meeting, Jordan and I testifying against the cuts, voices steady despite trembling hands. The room buzzed with skeptics, council members in suits, activists glaring. But as Jordan spoke, fire tempered with grace, something shifted. "We're not distractions, we're the heart of this fight. Love isn't scandal, it's survival." My edition, quiet but firm, sketches projected as visual pleas, sealed it. Votes swung, funding restored, a tentative victory. In the afterglow, under pride flags snapping in the breeze, Jordan kissed me. Public, unapologetic, while cameras flashed and cheers erupted. No more quiet protection. His loudness now amplified us both. Surprises lingered. Dad's email weeks later, halting words of pride. Riley's invite to co-lead a new youth program. Conflicts resolved not in perfection, but in scars that mapped our growth. Seattle's rains returned, but we walked them hand in hand. The city no longer gray but gilded. Love, we'd learned, thrived in the tension, quiet depths fueling loud flames, misunderstandings forging unbreakable trust. And in each other's eyes, we saw not just reflection, but future. The spring thaw brought tentative greens to the parks, but our world still felt brittle, like ice underfoot. Jordan threw himself into rebuilding the center's rep. Workshops on allyship, art therapy circles, while I navigated the fallout from home. Mom's calls a lifeline of "I'm here, baby," Dad's absence a ghost at meals. We'd moved in together officially, a cramped one-bedroom in Belltown with views of the ferries slicing the sound, a space that smelled of his coffee grounds and my charcoal pencils. Mornings were ritual. Him blasting playlists of queer anthems while scrambling eggs, me sketching at the counter, stealing glances at the way sunlight haloed his tousled hair. "You're staring," he'd tease, flipping a spatula with flair, and I'd grin, the ease of us a balm after storms. But prejudices didn't vanish with policy wins. They simmered in subtler forms. At my pub job, regulars who'd once clapped Jordan on the back now averted eyes, muttering about that mess in the news. One night, a tipsy exec cornered me during slow hour. "Heard your boy's the drama king. Careful, kid, associations stick." I bit back retorts, poured his whiskey neat, but the seed planted. Was I dragging Jordan down, my quieter nature a anchor in his activist sea? He sensed the shift over dinner that week. Sushi rolls from the spot down the block, his chopsticks pausing midair. "Spill, Alex. You've got that furrowed brow like you're solving world hunger." I confessed the encounter, downplaying the sting, but his jaw tightened. "Screw them. We're solid." Yet doubt lingered, a whisper in quiet moments. Friendships evolved too, laced with unexpected tensions. Riley became a fixture. Our third will turned confidant, hosting game nights where they'd roast our old married couple vibes over Cards Against Humanity. But beneath the laughs, Riley confided struggles, top surgery funded by gig work, family back in LA who loved them in quotes. "You two make it look easy," they'd say, envy sharpening their wit. Elena checked in sporadically, her text a bridge to Jordan's past self. "Proud of you both. Don't let the bastards grind you." Her acceptance mended old rifts, but it highlighted my lags. Still no Ohio visit. Sketches half finished in fear of judgment. A surprise jolted us mid-May. An invite to speak at a national queer youth conference in San Francisco, Jordan as keynote, me as visual artist collaborator. Our origin story, live. He joked, but nerves coiled tight. Flying south felt like stepping into a spotlight. Bigger crowds, sharper scrutiny. The city buzzed with color, rainbow crosswalks, Castro bars pulsing with life. Rehearsals in a sun-drenched loft had us pacing. Jordan's script a manifesto of resilience, my slides evoking shadowed journeys to light. "We're gonna kill it," he said, pulling me onto the fire escape for a kiss that tasted of possibility. Conference week unfolded in a whirlwind. Workshops on intersectionality, panels dismantling biases, late-night dances where Jordan spun me under disco balls, his laughter drowning bass. But conflict brewed backstage. A rival activist, Marcus, from a rival org, cornered Jordan pre-keynote. Tall, with a beard like a statement and eyes like daggers, Marcus hissed, "Your little love story's cute, but it's diluting the message. Personal drama over policy? Amateur hour." Jordan bristled, retorting with facts on funding wins, but the barb stuck. Post-speech, thunderous applause, teens lining for hugs. He retreated to our hotel room, deflated. Is he right? Am I just playing house while the real fight rages? I drew him a bath, lit candles from the corner store, and we soaked in silence, his head on my chest. "You're the fight, Jordan. Love's not dilution, it's fuel." Vulnerability cracked him open then, tears mixing with suds as he unpacked boyhood wounds. Coming out at 15 in a conservative suburb, dad's belt as punishment, mom's denial a quieter lash. "I got loud to survive, Alex. But sometimes, I just want quiet with you." We emerged renewed, but Marcus's shadow loomed, his org launching a smear campaign online, tweets twisting our story into privilege porn, ignoring grassroots wins. Back in Seattle, the digital storm hit hard. Hashtags trending queer drama, anonymous accounts doxing Jordan's routines. Fear crept in anew, me shadowing his walks home, him jumping at doorbells. Friendships fractured, some allies distanced, whispering, "Too messy," Riley mediating with fierce texts. "Ignore the noise, y'all are icons." But isolation gnawed, our apartment a bunker. One stormy night, power out, we huddled under blankets with flashlights, sharing secrets like contraband. I admitted my deepest fear, losing him to the cause, my quiet love too small for his blaze. He cupped my face, fierce. "You're my cause, Alex. Always." Resolution flickered at a community vigil for a trans teen lost to violence. News that gutted us. A reminder of stakes. Jordan spoke unscripted, voice breaking. "We fight divided, we fall. Love, messy, loud, quiet, binds us." Marcus was there, arms crossed, but nodded at the end, a truce in his grip. Post-vigil, over pie at a 24-hour diner, he apologized gruffly. "Misjudged you. Keep shining." Barriers crumbled, collaborations sparked, a joint fund for youth shelters. Summer peaked in heat waves rare for the Northwest. Our balcony a haven of iced teas and whispered plans. I finally booked Ohio tickets, Jordan at my side, his hand steadying mine through turbulence. Landing in cornfield flats felt like regression. Family farm unchanged, air thick with nostalgia and tension. Mom enveloped us in hugs scented with lavender, Dad hovering awkward at the grill, beer in hand. Dinner was minefield, small talk veering to the news, Dad's cough masking discomfort. But Jordan disarmed with stories, not sermons, but humor-laced tales of center kids thriving. "Your son's got heart, sir. Takes after you." By week's end, Dad pulled me aside, voice rough. "Proud, son. Just be safe." Tears pricked. Progress, fragile but real. Return brought momentum. My first gallery show, sketches of us woven into abstracts, quiet figures in loud worlds. Jordan curated, beaming as collectors bid. Riley DJ'd the afterparty. Elena zoomed cheers from afar. High on validation, we escaped to the San Juans for a weekend. Cabins by the sea, kayaks slicing inlets, nights tangled in flannel sheets, bodies mapping affirmations without words. "This is us," he murmured at dawn, waves lapping like applause. No more hiding. Yet autumn whispered warnings. Center audits revealed embezzlement. Not ours, but a staffer's, tainting all. Accusations flew, Jordan grilled by board, me his silent sentinel. Tension peaked in a closed-door meeting, voices rising behind frosted glass. I waited outside, sketching nervously, until he emerged, exonerated, but drained. They're circling, Alex. Want fresh blood. We rallied allies. Riley's data dives proving innocence, Elena's legal tips from Boston. Victory came narrow, but it forged steel. Jordan promoted to director, me volunteering as artist-in-residence. Holidays dawned warmer. Ohio visit reciprocal. Mom visiting Seattle, awed by markets and ferries, warming to Jordan over chowder. Dad's card arrived. Simple, thinking of you. A bridge half-built. New Year's Eve, atop the Space Needle, fireworks bursting like confessions. Jordan proposed not with rings but promises. Loud and quiet forever? Laughter choked with yes. Our story no longer drama, but epic. Love's quiet guardians against prejudice's roar. Winter's grip loosened into a mild El Niño. Seattle streets slick with meltwater and possibility. Jordan's directorship bloomed ambitious. Partnerships with schools for anti-bullying curriculums, pop-up exhibits in underserved neighborhoods. I quit the pub for full-time art. Commissions flowing from queer mags wanting covers of intertwined hands against stormy skies. Our rhythms synced. Mornings collaborative, him brainstorming slogans while I inked visuals. Evenings unwinding with vinyl spins of Nina Simone, his head in my lap. Domestic bliss suits you. Riley quipped at brunch, but truth hummed deeper. We'd traded survival for thriving. Prejudices dulled to background static. Misunderstandings lingered, though, in unexpected quarters. An old college friend of mine, Taylor, from Ohio days, straight as arrows and loyal to a fault, visited for a weekend, crashing our couch. He arrived wide-eyed at our life. Rainbow mugs, protest posters framing the walls. Over beers at the market, he grilled gentle. You seem happy, man. But, is this you, or Seattle's spell? The question unearthed insecurities. Had quiet me manufactured this bold love? I deflected with jokes, but it festered, spilling over in a late-night row with Jordan. Taylor thinks I'm faking it. He laughed at first, then sobered. Or he's scared for you. Like I was for my folks. We unpacked it till dawn. Is vulnerability a mirror? Early relationships sabotaged by his own loudness, fearing rejection before it came. Taylor's stay ended with a hike in Discovery Park, trails winding through madronas like veins of red resilience. He apologized awkwardly over trail mix. Just want you whole, Alex. Jordan clapped his back. He is. We're proof. Bonds mended. Taylor heading home with a sketch. Us three silhouetted against the sound, as envoy to lingering family doubts. Back home, the incident catalyzed growth. I started a journal, words chasing the sketches, chronicling the quiet revolutions within. Spring surged with festivals. Pride prep in full swing. Jordan co-chairing the parade float committee. Rehearsals were chaos. Glitter cannons misfiring. Drag divas directing traffic. I designed the banner. Phoenixes rising from quiet ashes, and watched him shine, microphone in hand, rallying volunteers. But tension brewed with a new board member, Lydia. Sharp-suited, old-guard lesbian who'd clawed through the AIDS crisis, now eyeing Jordan's youthful idealism with skepticism. At a strategy session, she cornered him post-presentation. Flashy speeches win hearts, but policy wins wars. Toned down the personal. Her words echoed Marcus's ghost, and Jordan vented that night, pacing our kitchen. Am I too much? Always the loud kid needing correction. I pulled him down, hands framing his face. Your much is my everything. We turned it outward, inviting Lydia for coffee, not confrontation but curiosity. Over lattes at his old shop, stories swapped. Her bar raids in the 80s, his alley fights now. Common ground emerged, shared scars, mutual respect. Keep the fire, kid, she conceded. Just aim it right. Mentorship sparked, her wisdom tempering his blaze. Surprises dotted the season. A grant for my art series on queer invisibility, funding a traveling exhibit. Jordan surprised me with a trip to the exhibit's kickoff in Portland, his old stomping grounds. Elena joining for a girls-turned-found family weekend. Strolling the bridges at dusk, Willamette glittering. She pulled me aside. He lights up around you, Alex. Quiet types like us. We ground the storms. Her insight healed old jealousies, affirming our mosaic. Conflict crested unexpectedly, a family crisis back east. Jordan's mom, long distant after his coming out, called in hysterics. Dad's heart attack, ICU limbo. He froze, phone slipping. She hasn't spoken to me in years. Why now? I booked flights, held him through the red eye, his hand vice tight. Hospital corridors reeked of regret. Mom's eyes red-rimmed, Dad pale under tubes. Awkward silences stretched, broken by Jordan's halting, I love you, even if. Dad's rasp cut in. Knew that, son. Stubborn like me. Forgiveness flowed uneven. Tears, accusations, hugs. But roots stirred, a sapling in cracked soil. Return was rebirth. Jordan channeling grief into a memorial fund for queer elders' health, me illustrating testimonials of reconciliation. Riley co-hosted the launch, their surgery scars a badge of survival, drawing crowds that overflowed the center. High on momentum, we adopted a rescue mutt, Finn, all wagging chaos. Our family expanding in fur and fidelity. Summer simmered with road trips, coastal drives to Olympic Peninsula, beaches empty save for us, bonfires where Jordan read my poems aloud, voice weaving magic. But prejudices resurfaced in micro. A B&B owner in Port Angeles sighed, eyeing our joined hands, service slowing. Jordan bristled, but I squeezed his fingers. Let it roll off. We're the story they envy. Growth showed. His loudness now laced with grace, my quiet fortified with voice. Fall harvest brought accolades. Jordan's TEDx talk going viral, loud love in quiet times. My exhibit touring nationally. Celebrations peaked at a rooftop gala, city sprawl below like a jeweled promise. Lydia toasted us. To the pair who reminded us, drama's not downfall, it's dawn. Dances blurred into dawn, bodies close, hearts synced. Yet climax loomed in winter's shadow, an expose threat from a disgruntled ex-volunteer, dredging old rumors to expose Jordan's instability. Panic flared, lawyers consulted, allies mobilized. The night before drop, we fortified, letters from Mom, sketches of our journey, Riley's video testimonials. Morning brought reversal, the source recanting, conscience pricked by our preemptive op-ed. Our truth, uncut. Resolution washed clean, the center stronger, us unbreakable. New Year's, under same fireworks, Jordan whispered, quiet protector, loud heart, mine. Love's arc complete, not in perfection, but persistence, surprises savored, conflicts conquered, prejudices mere footnotes to our epic. The new year dawned crisp, resolutions whispered over black-eyed peas at a potluck where Finn begged for scraps under tables. Jordan's talk virality opened doors, podcast invites, university lectures, a book deal dangling like ripe fruit. I tagged along when I could, my exhibits tour syncing serendipitously, Chicago's windy galleries 1 week, Austin's heat the next. Travel wove us tighter. Airport layovers trading sketches for story ideas, hotel rooms alive with debriefs and delights. We're unstoppable, he'd say, toasting with minibar sparkling water, and I'd believe it, the quiet in me harmonizing his crescendo. But success bred scrutiny. A profile in Out magazine painted us as Seattle's power queer couple, glossy shots of us arm in arm at the center. Adoration poured in. Fan mail from teens echoing, you gave me courage, but so did Barb's. Trolls dissecting our white knight dynamic, forums speculating on who wears the pants. Jordan shrugged it off publicly, but privately, it chafed. Am I the token loud gay Alex? You the brooding artist. Insecurities surfaced over takeout one rainy eve, Finn curled at our feet. I traced his phoenix tattoo. You're my spark. Without loud you, quiet me's just echo. Reassurance landed soft, but the peace lingered, prompting therapy, couples sessions unpacking power imbalances, emerging with tools. Weekly check-ins, no topic taboo. Friendships deepened amid the whirl. Taylor returned for cherry blossom season, Ohio spring in his grin, bearing Dad's handmade quilt. For your nest, he said, eyes misty. We toured the exhibit together, his awe validating roots. Riley, post-surgery glow fading into routine, confessed a crush on a barista, nerves fraying their bravado. How'd you know with Jordan? We three dissected over IPAs, my advice quiet. Listen to the ache. Their first date bloomed, us cheering from afar, family expanding. Surprise struck in May. Lydia's retirement party. Her toast naming Jordan's successor. Full director, no interim. Shock rippled. At 48, she'd burned bright. Now passing torch. Earned it, kid. Don't fuck it up. Elation mixed dread. He confided fears of filling her shoes, imposter syndrome gnawing. I rallied with a custom sketch. Him as Phoenix perched on her shoulder, flames merging. Board vote unanimous, but launch event loomed large. Gala fundraiser, A-listers and donors, pressure cooker. Prep consumed June. Theme flames of change. My murals adorning the venue. Jordan scripting welcomes. Tension peaked when a major sponsor balked. CEO's wife, uncomfortable with the gay emphasis, code for us. Jordan's call to her, calm, cutting, citing stats on queer youth suicide. She folded, but the wind tasted bitter, highlighting Hydra-headed biases. One head down, 9 to go, he joked, but eyes shadowed. Gala night shimmered, chandeliers dripping light, gowns swirling like auroras. Jordan's speech soared, personal anecdotes laced with data, ending on us. Love's the revolution's core. Applause thundered, but midway, conflict erupted backstage. Marcus, reconciled but competitive, accused poaching his panel idea. Voices raised, donors glancing askance. I mediated, pulling them to a side room. We're allies, not adversaries. Truce brokered over whiskey, collaboration born. A joint conference next year. Post-glow, we escaped to the islands again, cabin by Ho rainforest, moss-draped trees whispering secrets. Hikes cleared heads, streams our soundtrack. There, Jordan proposed truly. Ring simple, silver band etched with intertwined initials, under a canopy of ferns. Will you, quiet guardian? Knees muddied. Yes, eternal. News spread. Riley hooped via video. Elena planned bachelorette. Taylor toasted from afar. Summer engagements buzzed. Planning low-key, courthouse with intimates, reception at the center. But family threads tugged. My parents visited. Mom beaming, dad gruff but present, gifting tools for your place. Jordan's folks arrived tentative. Mom's hugs thawing, dad's stories of mill work bridging gaps. Dinner bridged eras. Queer history meets heartland grit. Laughs over pie. Fall's foliage framed rehearsals. Vows penned collaboratively. Mine poetic, his fervent. Exhibit tour climaxed in New York. MoMA nod, crowds gasping at our narrative pieces. Back home, prejudices peaked. Vandalized center sign, Sodom scrawled in red. Jordan rallied cleanup as rally, turning hate to unity mural, community brushes erasing slurs. Winter wedding dawned snowy, rare for Seattle. Vows exchanged under evergreens, Finn ring bearer in bow tie. Riley officiated, quips landing perfect. Lydia teared up ringside. Reception danced till dawn, toasts to loud quiets conquering. Honeymoon in Big Sur. Cliffs crashing, us crashing waves of bliss. Post-nuptials, life layered richer. Jordan's book deal signed. My graphic novel greenlit. Our stories intertwined. Conflicts? Mere sparks now, fan to growth. Surprises. Pregnancy talk with surrogacy dreams. Riley's engagement. Prejudices? Echoes, drowned by our symphony. Quiet protection, loud proclamation, love's endless arc. Spring post-wedding bloomed hybrid. Virtual tours for Jordan's book promo. My novel sketches digitized for remote critiques. Lockdown echoes lingered from pandemic scars, but vaccines freed cautious gatherings. Center barbecues masked, distanced. We adapted, Jordan hosting Zoom ally trainings, me illustrating ebooks on resilience. Domesticity deepened. Herb garden on the balcony thriving under his green thumb. Finn's Zoom eyes our alarm clock. Husband vibes, he'd tease, kissing bedhead me. The word still novel, thrilling. Yet adjustment chafed subtle. Jordan's directorship demanded more. Late calls with national orgs. Travel teases resuming. I felt the pull, quiet routines disrupted. Over breakfast burritos, I confessed. Miss our bubble. He nodded, empathetic. Fame's double-edged. Let's anchor. We instituted unplugged Sundays. No screens, just hikes or board games. Reconnecting amid ferns. Friendships flowered too. Riley's wedding planning frenzy, elopement in the Cascades, us as witnesses. Their nerves mirrored ours. What if family flakes? But Jordan's pep, loves the invite they accept. Ceremony under stars, vows fierce, our gift a custom piece, them as constellation. Taylor's visit overlapped, bringing Ohio kin. Cousin Sarah, curious by woman, and group chats sparked ongoing, bridging coasts. Surprise arrived swaddled. Mom's announcement, cancer diagnosis early stage, treatable. Jordan and I flew east, her farm a haven of forced calm. Chemo chats over quilting, Dad's stoicism cracking with gratitude for our boys. We stayed weeks, me sketching her portraits, strength in lined faces, Jordan organizing care drives. Return laden with love, her quilt on our bed, resolve to cherish. Summer's heat wave tested, Center Heat Fund for Homeless Queer Youth, Jordan spearheading. I volunteered portraits, dignity in every stroke, but exhaustion crept. A donor gala clashed with my deadline, tension snapping over packing. Priorities, Alex. His flair, my retreat, silent drive, unspoken hurts. Cooling off at Green Lake, paddleboats bobbing, we aired. His pressure valve overload, my fear of fading. Team us, reconciliation in ripples. Fall's book launch loomed, Jordan's loud echoes, queer voices amplified, forward by me. Signings in Seattle bookstores buzzed, fans queuing, stories shared. But conflict stirred. A reviewer, conservative outlet plant, panned it sentimental screed, twisting personal tales into propaganda. Backlash trended, Jordan tempted to clap back. I urged pause. Let work speak. He did, sales soaring on word of mouth, reviewer exposed as biased. Holidays hybrid. Ohio Thanksgiving via hybrid, screens linking tables, mom's pie pixels, dad's carving demo. Jordan's family joined in person, full table for first time, recipes swapped, Finn stealing turkey. New Year's quiet. Just us, resolutions whispered, surrogacy consults booked, dreams voiced. Winter deepened commitments. First fertility meet, hopes tentative. Agency picnic introduced potentials, warm faces, shared visions. Selection process intimate. Letters exchanged, matches clicked. Carrier match, Jamie, trans man from Tacoma, artist like me, story resonating. Family of choice, he said, echoing us. Spring brought embryo transfer. Clinic waits nerve-wracking, Jordan pacing, me meditating. 2-week wait agony. Distractions and hikes, sketches of nursery whims. Positive test, elation, tears, calls to kin. Pregnancy journey wove us. Ultrasounds awing, cravings humored, pickles at midnight, fears voiced in lamplight. Summer swell, baby bump photos, center baby shower, diapers, onesies rainbowed. But biases brushed. Online forums questioning gay dad's fitness, venom veiled. Jordan blogged response. Love parents, period. Support surged, detractors drowned. Fall harvest. Harvest moon walks. Names brainstormed. River for sounds flow. Sage for wisdom. Labor loomed. Classes attended. Breathing synced. Roles clarified. Winter birth. Hospital hum. Jordan coaching, me holding hand. Cry pierced. Son. Riley James. After Riley's middle, our nod. Skin to skin. World narrowed to tiny fists. Blue eyes like his dad's. Parenthood's drama unfolded. Sleepless symphonies. First smiles miracles. Conflicts minor. Division of nights. Jordan's travel guilt. Growth in grace. Co-parenting classes. Village leaning. Riley Auntie Judy's. Taylor uncle visits. Surprises. Dad's flight for baptism. Secular. Lakeside. Mom's stories regaling. Prejudices. Whispers at playgrounds. Met with Jordan's charm. My steady gaze. Love's quiet loud duet now trio. Rivers coos the harmony. Our epic ever unfolding. River's first spring unfurled in tentative steps. Wobbly on grass. Giggles chasing bubbles in volunteer park. Jordan documented obsessively. Insta reels of chubby hands grasping cherry petals. Captions, tiny activist in training. I captured stills. Album building narratives of normalcy amid our knot. Fatherhood reframed everything. Center policies now included family leave advocacy, My art series pivoting to queer parenting portraits. Raw, revelatory. But rhythms, Jared. Jordan's book tour expanded. LA, NYC, even Toronto, leaving gaps I filled solo. Bedtime stories solo, daycare drop-offs in dawn light. Resentment simmered subtle, spilling over a missed milestone. River's first word, dada, to me via video. Jordan's return, airport hug tight, but homecoming strained. I hate missing, he confessed over River's pureed peas. But the work. I nodded, throat tight. We're the work too. Check-in ritual evolved. Monthly state of union, walks, stroller-pushing therapy, airing loads. Friendships fortified the front. Riley, now partnered with barista Ben, hosted playdates, toddlers tumbling, wines flowing post-nap. Their wedding anniversary overlapped our baby moon plan. Cabin retreat, River and Carrier, rekindling amid Loon's calls. Taylor's family expanded. His engagement to Sarah, and Ohio summers became tradition. Farm romps, River chasing fireflies, Dad's gruff, good grip, kid on toy tools. Surprise shadowed summer. Lydia's health scare, stroke, rehab fierce. We visited weekly, River's babble her light. Your boy's a healer, she rasped, gifting Jordan her Rolodex of contacts. Her recovery inspired. Elder care initiative at center, my murals adorning senior homes. Fall's foliage framed River's first birthday. Park picnic, cakes smashed gleefully. But conflict crested via email. National org offer for Jordan, exec director, DC-based, prestige pinnacle. It's huge, he said, eyes alight. Gut punch, uproot? Seattle's home. I countered, River napping oblivious. Debates stretched weeks, pros weighed, impact amplified, cons heavy, family roots. Therapy unpacked. His ambitions pull, my stability's anchor. No DC without us, he vowed, declining gracefully. Counteroffer. Advisory role, travel light. Winter's cozies deepened. Holiday lights strung. Rivers awe at tree baubles. Mom's visit overlapped Elena's. Aunties unite, swapping childcare hacks. Dad's gift, custom crib mobile, whirligigs of queer icons. New Year's toast, to roots expanding, not relocating. Spring's thaw brought River's words blooming. Mama for me, gender fluid in his eyes. Papa Jordan's blaze. Toddler tantrums tested. Supermarket meltdowns met calm redirects. But joys outweighed. Park ducks fed, library story times. My novel published to acclaim. Tour mini with River cameos. Bookstore readings ending in lap snuggles. Summer adventures. Beach days at Golden Gardens. Sandcastles queer flag topped. Prejudices peaked. Stares at two dads. One dad's mutter choices, huh? Jordan's retort light. Best choice ever. Growth and deflection, modeling grace for River. Fall school jitters. Preschool hunt. Inclusive spots scouted. First day. Backpack tiny. Waves brave. Parent nights revealed allies. And isolates. One mom cornering. Curriculum 2. Progressive. Jordan's panel response. Data on inclusive kids thriving. Bond over cookies post-meet. Bridge built. Winter milestones. River's snow angel debut. Holidays hybrid with kin. Surprise. Pregnancy redux. Second child via Jamie again. Girl on horizon. Elation doubled. Plans for bunk beds. Parenthood's drama mellowed to rhythm. Conflicts as growth spurts. Surprises as daily wonders. Prejudices? Background hum. Our loud quiet love the volume knob. River's laughter the crescendo. Family's chorus complete.